I'm so excited that you're all here. And like I said, when I have a couple of free moments throughout the video, I'm going to go through the comments so I can answer questions. But I also wanted to let you know if I'm not able to get through all of those comments and questions, if you go onto the speaker page, there are slots available where you guys can schedule a private chat with me if there's any questions that you might have, or if you just want to hang out, which is exciting. One of the things I love about doing festivals is I get to be face-to-face with everyone. I get to meet you. A lot of you, I hear from you online, but I don't get to really see your face. So festivals are a great way to do that. And I love that they added in this chat option to be able to do that too. So make sure you guys sign up if you want to take advantage of that. But today, if you're new to me, if you've never heard of me, I'm Jennifer from Living Freely Gluten Free. I have a blog and I've written 2 cookbooks. So we are a food allergy family. It started with myself finding out that I had a gluten allergy. Then I realized that my son had one as well when he was really young, and it has turned into so many different intolerances and allergies throughout the years. My son also has a moderate corn allergy. My daughter and I are lactose intolerant, and she is sensitive to most nuts and sesame seeds. So it's constant, like, buying lots of different items. Every person has their own food in the house. But what's really important to me and my mission and why I do what I do is because it's so important for me to make meals that are safe for our entire family. So I don't want to have to cook 3 different dinners because we have 3 different allergies. So it's really important to me that all of our meals are free of all of our issues and we can all eat together as a family, and I am only cooking 1 meal. What's also really important is that they're easy. And when you have so many intolerances, you can't just eat out all of the time. So it's important to make things that you can freeze, that you can meal prep, that's going to be simple for your family. So today I'm making my top 8 allergen-free meatballs, which are from my second book, 101 Incredible Gluten-Free Recipes. This book came out earlier this year. It actually came out on the day that we went on lockdown because of COVID. So that was really disappointing. I had a lot of book signings scheduled that all had to get canceled. But this book is available anywhere online where books are sold. It's also available in stores at Barnes & Noble. And then there's a lot of small, like, indie bookstores that carry it all over the US. You can also always get it on Amazon. It's on Target.com. So if you want lots of family-friendly recipes, this book will be great for you. So let's get into making meatballs. I think I'll try to scroll through the questions really quick and just say hi to everyone, and then we will get to work. These are so easy to make. We're going to fly through them. You guys are going to love this recipe. It's so, so simple. So I'm just going to peek over here and say hi to Jessica and Ava. I think it's Day. I hope I pronounced that right. AJ, Jennifer's here. Philomena, David, Nancy, Diana, Liz. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for popping in and watching this video. I hope that this recipe is able to help you. Okay, so paleo meatballs that are egg-free. There's no breadcrumbs in these. They're so super simple, made with fresh, delicious ingredients. And what's great about these is you can freeze them. You can serve them as an appetizer, or you can serve them as your main dish. So what I'm gonna do is I have all of my meat right here in the bowl. And you can use 2.5 pounds of any ground meat. It doesn't matter what it is. You can use ground turkey, ground beef, ground pork. And here I have a combination of ground beef and ground pork. That's kind of our favorite combo. And I just kind of like mashed it up with my wooden spatula just to kind of, you know, break it up a little bit because it was in the container that it came in. And what I'm going to do now is, it's so easy. You just take this meat, you're going to add your herbs. So there's just a few really yummy Italian herbs that you're going to put in here. You can use fresh or dried. You cannot go wrong. And then I have salt, pepper, granulated garlic. I'm going to put that on top. And then this is the yummy part. So in here we have green bell pepper, we have onion, and we have garlic. And you can use a food processor for this if you want to. That's what I did because it makes it really fine, and then the kids don't notice all the veggies as much. Mine sometimes want to be a little bit picky. I have one that's pickier than the other. So trying to get it as chopped up as nicely as I can just makes it easier to get the kids to eat everything. And all we're doing is we are just going to mash this up. Once I get all these veggies combined in here, I'm just going to roll these up into meatballs, and then we are going to fry them on each side for about 5 minutes. And the reason that so there's 2 steps to cooking these, and the reason being is because we don't have a binder in these meatballs. Typically, traditional meatballs contain eggs and breadcrumbs, and that serves as the binder. That's what kind of keeps them together so they don't fall apart when you cook them. But since we're not using a binder for these, we're going to take that first step of frying them on each side because that gets them nice and tight and intact. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bake them in some sauce, and that makes them juicy and flavorful. So that is how I make these meatballs, and that is the reason that we fry them first, because we don't want them to fall apart when we bake them. If you just put these straight in the oven, there's a very good chance that they are just going to totally fall apart on you. And who wants to go through all of the work of creating a meatball for it to just totally fall apart? So, and then if you want to freeze these, which they freeze really, really well, what you'll do is after you fry them, you're going to just let them cool down to room temperature. And then I put them in a freezer bag and I just stick them in the freezer. So I just write the date on them. I stick them in the freezer, and they are ready to go. So you'll just take them out, let them thaw when you want to serve them, and then you will bake them. So don't skip that baking step because they are par cooked. They're not completely cooked through after you fry. They finish cooking in the oven. So make sure that you don't skip that step when you take them out of the freezer to serve them. So most of my veggies now are blended really well in here. And we are going to be able to start making these meatballs. And this makes quite a few too. And I like to make my meatballs kind of big, but if you don't want them super big, then you can make them any size that you want them to be, whatever is going to be easier for you and your family. And what's great about this is you can totally modify ingredients. You know, if your family absolutely hates onions, add some shredded carrot in here, or you can sub the bell pepper for shredded carrot, or you can use any color bell pepper. You really cannot go wrong with this recipe. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to scroll through the comments really quick and make sure I didn't miss anything before I get my hands dirty in here. And if you guys have any questions, please ask because I really love getting to interact with you guys. Okay, so I have a question about where I get corn-free ground meat and pork. Okay, so my son has a moderate corn allergy, so he does not react to meat, so we've been okay. But where I do purchase my meat is from ButcherBox. We do all grass-fed organic ground meat from ButcherBox. Okay, and then I have a question in here. How long can you keep them in the freezer? I would say probably about 2 to 3 months. If you want to keep the flavor going, I would say 2 to 3 months in the freezer. And Ava said it was an honor to meet me last year, and you have my book. So thank you, Ava. That makes me so happy. I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, awesome. So again, if you guys have any more questions, please shoot them over to me. And if you do suffer from a severe corn allergy, I want to recommend my friend to you, the Allergy Chef. When I found out that my son had a corn allergy, it was just mild at that point, and it escalated to moderate. I'll talk while I'm making these meatballs. And she really helped me and coached me through all of it. So if you need someone who is very fluent in corn allergy issues and intolerances, the Allergy Chef is just a wealth of knowledge, and she has tons of books that can all give you information for safe things, and she has a lot of other resources too. So we are fortunate enough that his allergy is not so severe that he can't eat things that are like, manufactured in a facility where there's corn. He's not anaphylactic. We're hoping to keep it under control because it has gotten a little worse as the years have gone on. It started as mild with no reaction to corn, and then we moved to California from Washington, and we live in a very agricultural area where corn was grown literally about 20 feet from our house. Like at the end of the street, there were massive cornfields, and all of a sudden he started getting sick. Just so stomach sick. He lost like 4 pounds in a matter of 2 months. And he was little at that time, so 4 pounds was a lot. And he also got bloody noses. And so I had him retested for allergies because we knew he had a gluten allergy, but I had him retested, and the corn came up moderate. So we cut all the corn out of his diet, which did help, but he would still not feel well from time to time, and he was getting really bad nosebleeds. And that is when we made the decision that we were going to have to sell our house that we had just bought in that city and move a city away where there wasn't any corn grown. And he has done really, really well. We've also experimented with his corn allergy, and we've found that he reacts mostly to corn syrup and corn starch. So he can have small amounts of organic, non-GMO corn, very small amounts without reacting. And when I say small, I mean like 1 tortilla, like every other week, and we don't have any issues. But any more than that, and he starts to have behavioral problems, he gets an upset stomach, and he breaks out in really bad dermatitis on his elbows. So, corn, I think for us has been one of the hardest things to cut out, especially with being gluten-free, because, everything that is gluten-free has corn in it almost. So anything I can find that's safe for him, I get really excited about. My daughter can have corn, so we do still have items in the house that do have corn, but we eat very limited amounts of it. And my new book, 101 Incredible Gluten-Free Recipes, we had already been dealing with his allergy at that point. So I made sure that all of those recipes were corn-free. So I make our own baking soda, powdered sugar, things like that. That's all in the new book. And you can see this is the size I'm making for the meatball. In the book, I say like the size of a golf ball, which I think this is the size of a golf ball. Like, don't quote me on it because I've never played golf, but I imagine that's probably what the size of a golf ball is. So, but you can do it any way you want. I have this really large skillet, which fits all of my meatballs in it, which is awesome. And it's usually about 5 minutes on each side. And you just want it like a nice little brown on the outside, and I'll show you because I already fried some up for you guys so we could make this quick and you guys didn't have to hang out with me while I'm cooking everything because that can take a while. And there's so many awesome exhibitors on the Nourish Festival for you guys to go check out. I would love to know any other lectures or cooking demos that you guys enjoyed. I saw so many of my friends on there who were doing different lectures and cooking demos, which got me really excited. So if you had a good one, let me know so I can make sure that I check it out if they do a replay. And then so many amazing brands on there for you guys to check out. I'm just going to wash my hands really quick, okay? Okay, I'm going to scroll through these comments real quick because it looks like we've got a few on here. Okay, beef or chicken allergies. That's from Nancy. You have beef or your daughter has beef or chicken allergies with celiac. So I don't know if you guys have tried ground turkey and ground pork would be great if you're able to tolerate those. That would be awesome. Let's see. Oh, my hair. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a natural redhead. I do kind of like diet a little bit just because I'm getting older and it's not as pretty as it once was, but thank you so much for that compliment. Okay, Kathlena is your friend and she's amazing. Yes, I love Kathlena. She is the sweetest. And Yermina, the corn-free hippie. Nice to meet you too. I'll have to, if you're on Instagram, I'll have to go follow you. So I So you lived in Modesto. So we lived in Brentwood, and we moved out of Brentwood to get away from the corn. Dr. Can, I saw him. I'm going to have to check that out. And then Jennifer Fitzpatrick did GF Pad Thai. I'll have to check that out too because we love Pad Thai. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on the stove, and then I'm going to grab the one that I already made. So I made some meatballs yesterday just to kind of prep for you guys. And what's great about these is you can never have too many meatballs because you can freeze all of these. So this is half of a batch. And these are all fried on each side. And what we do after we fry them is we take a baking dish. And if you're going to cook a whole batch, you'll need a baking dish a little bit bigger than this. I put just a little bit of sauce on the bottom of my baking dish so the meatballs don't stick to it. And then I'm just going to take these meatballs and stick them in the dish. And then we're going to cover them with sauce. And we're going to bake them for about 20 minutes. And that's all there is to it. So you can serve these over spaghetti squash. You can serve them over zoodles. Fabulous over both of those. If you are not paleo or doing Whole30, gluten-free noodles. My kids love gluten-free spaghetti noodles. We usually do the Jovial brown rice spaghetti noodles, or I will do the Banza Brotini or the penne or the spirals. That's what my kids like a lot. So I'm going to just now put, and this is my meat sauce, and you can find this recipe in my first cookbook. I'm going to put this on top. Any marinara that your family loves will be excellent on this. We're almost done, you guys. So if you have any questions, please go ahead, put them in the chat. I'd love to chat with you guys a little bit after this because it went quick. It hasn't even been 15 minutes. Obviously, when you make these at home, they'll take a little bit longer because you have to fry them and then bake them, but they're really so simple, and you can prep these ahead of time. So you can, make the meatballs and just keep them in a container in the fridge, and you have them ready to go. So here we go. I have the meatballs with my sauce on top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some vegan cheese to half of it. So some of this vegan cheese has cornstarch in it. My son can't have that. So I'm just going to add this to half of it for my daughter and I. And then we're going to cover it in foil, and we are going to bake it for 20 minutes. Just like this. And if you do put cheese on it and it's not totally melted, at the end you can take the foil off. And, oh, my microphone is noisy. Is my microphone noisy, you guys? Is it bothering you? It just alerted me and said your microphone appears to be noisy. So I can take my earbuds off if that is the case. And then there was a question, how high is the heat when you fry the meatballs? On medium heat. So you'll want it medium or medium high, just depending on how big the burner is. So if it's a smaller burner, you might want to turn the heat up a little bit. But if it's a large burner, you would just do it on medium heat. Yeah, the temperature is medium heat on the stove, and then we're going to bake this at 400. And I also wanted to let you guys know, too, if you go, okay, good, my sound is good. If you go onto my speaker page, there's a PDF with this recipe, and you guys can just print it right off and have it referenced. You don't need to have the book to make this recipe. So right now, I have some meatballs in here that I already have been baking, so you guys can see what the finished product looks like. I'm just going to check these and make sure that, oh yes, smells so good. Okay, I'm going to stick these guys in. Those are going to bake for 20 minutes, and look at these beautiful, can you guys see? Look at that. Oh, smells amazing. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I got a question about my son's favorite dish. Okay, he does love spaghetti a lot. He loves tacos, and I use Potapaz tortillas. It's like a potato cassava tortilla. I think there's cassava in it. And so tacos, spaghetti are his favorite, and pizza. And the pizza recipe is in here. We actually found a takeout place that's local that has safe pizza for him, and he doesn't like it. He wants my pizza. And sometimes I just want to order a pizza. You know, I don't want to always make it from scratch. But the great thing about the pizza crust recipe is that you can freeze it and just have it in the freezer to grab and go. But yeah, he's a typical 9-year-old boy who loves spaghetti, tacos, and pizza, and anything that I bake. So cookies, cakes, ice cream. He loves all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how I start out. And I just touched a hot pan. There you go. Okay, I have a bowl of spaghetti, and I just kind of coated it in my meat sauce. And I'm not going to burn myself again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these yummy meatballs. Look at that. You know, so much steam. Look at these beauties, you guys. And I'm just going to stick it on top of these noodles. Yummy. And all this vegan mozzarella and parm on top of these. So good. And the homemade meat sauce really just does take this dish to another level. But like I said, you know, don't feel obligated to make your sauce from scratch unless you have to because of allergies. And I have some fresh basil out from my garden. And I'm just going to garnish this on top. And now we have a beautiful, beautiful bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. So you guys can't see, I'll bring it over and I will answer questions. Here we go. Who doesn't love spaghetti and meatballs? Okay, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer questions before our video is over. Again, you can do that private chat to schedule that if you would like to. And let's see. Oh, good. You guys can actually see the PDF on your screen. That's good. So you can download it. That has this meatball recipe right there. And let's see. I'm going to try to start at the top and just scroll my way down. And my son, so back like at my son's favorite dish and during COVID and everything, what's been great is he's actually been getting in the kitchen with me a lot. And there's my dog. She's here with me. Sorry, guys. He's been getting in the kitchen with me a lot and cooking, especially during COVID because we're here. And what's great is when he cooks things, I'm going to tell my dog to be quiet. Sorry, guys. When he cooks stuff, he really wants to eat it. So that's really nice, too. And he loves cooking tacos. And he loves topping pizza. So that's always a lot of fun, too. And then he always loves helping bake and do all of that. Okay, so could you make these with a ground meat alternative such as Beyond Meat? I am very confident that Beyond Meat would work perfect in this recipe. Their texture and everything is so good that I totally think that that would be absolutely fine. Okay, the local pizza place that I was talking about earlier is called Extreme Pizza. And so he can't have toppings on his pizza. It's like sauce, and they have one particular cheese. We called and like went through all the cheeses to make sure that they didn't have cornstarch. And there's one cheese that he can have. So he just gets a plain cheese pizza. And then my daughter gets the diet because they have diet at Extreme. And she gets ground chicken on hers. Okay, so my Instagram, yes, I will type that in here and my email address so that you guys can reach me if you have any questions about anything. Yeah, I mean, my son, he definitely doesn't like some things, or sometimes he'll like it once and then I'll make it again. He decides he doesn't like it. As he's getting older, and he's more restricted, he's becoming a lot more adventurous with food when I present him with something that is safe for him, which was good because at first it was so bad. It was so bad, and he just was so picky about so many things. Yeah, so Jennifer was asking, you can put just about any veggies in there because she's allergic to peppers. Totally. So if you wanted to like use shredded carrots, which I think would be my like substitute if I was going to pick one for this, I would do shredded carrots versus the peppers. I wouldn't say like any vegetable, but I would say carrots, mushrooms. You could even like double up on the onion or do 2 different types of onion instead. Sylvia wanted to know, is the cheese vegan? And yes, Gwenny is a show dog. She thinks she is anyway. She thinks she's the queen. If you follow me on Instagram, sometimes my daughter dresses her up in like jewelry and things, and she just rocks it because she thinks that she is a queen. Okay, so the cheese is vegan, and I used 2 different brands. I used, let me grab the packaging because one of them is a new brand. That off so I don't burn it. Because I will just show you guys what I have here. Sorry. Okay, so this is one of our new favorite vegan cheeses. This is Veal Life, and this does have cornstarch in it. So my son cannot have this, and he can have dairy. My son's not dairy free, so I find safe cheese for him, and then this is what I use for my daughter and I. And then the Follow Your Heart shredded parm, phenomenal. It is so dang good. And this is what I use for my daughter and I. And this does not have cornstarch in it. So technically he could have it. It has potato starch instead of cornstarch. But I don't like sharing. If he can have the dairy, I just rather give him regular cheese. Okay, so Susan wants to know what's the name of my book. I have 2 books. My first book is titled Just Living Freely Gluten-Free. This is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. This was like all of the recipes that started the blog, which is really exciting. There's over 100 recipes in here. Everything's family friendly. Everything I do is family friendly. And then this is my new book. This just came out in March. This is 101 incredible gluten-free recipes. If you have both books, you'll tell the difference. I self-published this one, and this was through a publishing company. But there's recipes in here. I have bread. I have bagels. I have side dishes for the holidays. I have hummus. We've got seafood. We've tons of appetizers, cauliflower wings. I mean, everything. You guys wanted me to go in detail on that, follow me on Instagram because I do flip throughs of the book sometimes. Miyoko's does have great cheese, but yeah, you have to check the labels. And I really love the Miyoko's has like an herb cheese wheel. And if I'm doing cheese plates and having people over, that is one of my favorites. I really, really love that. Yeah, Miyoko is really a great asset to the vegan community, and she does a lot of live videos, and it's really nice. Okay, so I know Susan said, don't forget your meatballs are cooking. That's why I just turned them off. I'll finish those later. The marinara sauce. She asked, what brand marinara sauce do I use? So this was my homemade recipe, and the book, or the recipes in my first book, Living Freely Gluten-Free. And I made that homemade, and it's really delicious. But if I'm going to buy a sauce, there's an organic sauce from Costco that I've been getting, and then I really like the Newman's. It starts with an S. I can't remember the exact name of it, but that's kind of been my go-to for many years is the Newman's sauce if I just need something quick and easy. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I made your dog bark. I know she has little dog syndrome, and she just, once she gets going, it's really hard to make her stop. Okay, I have a question about gluten-free flour for baking. Okay, I get asked this a lot. And I make my own flour, and the recipe is in both of my books, and it's up on my blog. It's 3 simple ingredients. It's rice-based, and there's tapioca starch and potato starch in it. That is my go-to for baking anything because I've had 100% success with it, and I've been using it since I went gluten-free in 2011. And I created that recipe because I couldn't afford to just buy pre-made all-purpose flour, and back then there was only like 2 brands, and so I had to start making it my own. I would buy it in bulk, and I would blend it myself, and it works really, really good. So if you're looking for something that's foolproof, inexpensive, and that you can bake for family members that aren't gluten-free and they're not going to tell the difference, that is the flour that I'm using. Now, I've recently just started buying a flour from Better Batter, and they came out with a rice-free flour, and I had to try it because I don't like having a ton of rice in my diet. I don't think it's good for you, and I also don't feel great when I'm like eating too much rice. So I bought it, and so far it has been working really well cup for cup in my recipes. I haven't tried to like modify a recipe that I found online or anything, but as far as all of my recipes, it's worked really well. So it's their gum-free, rice-free line, and it's sorghum based, and it works really well if you're looking for something that you can purchase online. So my Instagram is Living Freely Gluten Free, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna type that in here for you guys. And you can find me Living Freely Gluten Free everywhere on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I am on Twitter, but I don't use it. And I just started a TikTok, but I don't like it. So you can find me on TikTok too if you're on there. I might try to get my younger sister to help me with that. But those are the places that you can find me. Oh, and I'll also put my email address in here too. So if you guys ever need anything, I'm always available. You can always reach out to me. If you have any questions about my recipes or where you can get books or brands or anything, reach out to me, email me, follow me on social media. I respond to every single message I get on social media. So if you ever have a question, I am always there for you guys. Oh yeah, the Sock It To Me marinara, that's really good too. Okay, the brand for the rice-free, gum-free flour is Better Batter. And I'm going to, hopefully soon, I'll be collaborating with them so I can share it a lot more with everyone and get you guys a discount code. I'm waiting on that from them. We're working on that collaboration right now. But if you go on to betterbatter.com, it is their rice-free, gum-free flour, and you can order it on there. That's where I buy it in the 5-pound bags, and that's what I've been using. I've made cookies with it. I've made lemon bread with it. I've made a couple cakes with it, and I really, really like it. And it works really well. Great texture. It bakes really well. What I will tell you is if you're baking for people who are not gluten-free, I would recommend using my rice flour blend because they literally cannot tell the difference when you're baking with that rice flour blend. I have family members who ask me to bake their cakes for their birthdays. I mean, pretty much every family member asks me to bake their cake for their birthdays, and they are not gluten-free or dairy-free, and they don't care because it tastes so good. So that's always the flour I use for like parties, holidays. If I'm making holiday cookies, because I usually pass out cookies for Christmas, that's the flour I use. But if I'm baking just for us, the 4 of us, I'll use my Better Batter flour because it is more expensive, and you know, other people don't care as much. It's more of a health preference for us. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, shoot them through right now. Again, if you want, this recipe is available for you to download, but if you want any other recipes, you can get them in my cookbook, 101 Incredible Gluten-Free Recipes. I'll tell you when I make this, if I have extra time, I have a baguette recipe in this book that is phenomenal. This is the bakery style French bread, and it's soft and squishy. Oh, you're in Better Batter. You didn't find anything without the rice. I wonder if it's sold out because I do know that it went really quick. But I have a bag in my pantry that I can show you. so you can look for it. So this is what it is. This is the Better Batter Artisan's Baker Blend Cup for Cup gluten-free flour. So it has sorghum flour, tapioca starch, potato starch, psyllium husk, and potato flour. And this is what the 5-pound bag looks like. It did sell out really quick when they had it, and I got in on like they were kind of doing a trial thing, so I got a discount on it because I don't think it was like hitting the shelves yet, but I'm pretty sure that it's out and available now. What other kind of sauce do you use for the meatballs? So like I said, I use my homemade sauce, or I'll use a store-bought marinara. I really like the Newman's. That's typically what I do buy, but I recently bought an organic sauce at Costco. That was really good too. It was like a big jar of organic sauce, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it only had a few ingredients and it was really clean. So I was happy with that. Okay, let's see. Is your flour blend only in your book, or is it on your website? It is on my website, and I have 2 flour blend recipes on my website. So I have an all-purpose flour blend, and then I have a paleo all-purpose flour blend. The paleo all-purpose flour blend you can pretty much use on all of my recipes, just using the paleo flour instead of my regular gluten-free all-purpose flour. Okay. So would you be willing to share the ratios for your flour mix? Sure. And the recipe's also on my website. If you want to check it out on there too, you can just search all-purpose flour and it'll pop up. But the my regular all-purpose flour blend is 4 cups of brown rice flour. You can also use white rice flour. It doesn't have to be brown rice flour. And then it's 1 cup of tapioca starch, 1 cup of potato starch. That's all that there is to it. And then I don't add xanthan gum in my all-purpose flour because I have recipes that don't call for a binder. Then again, we use guar gum instead of xanthan gum because xanthan gum is typically corn derived. So I use guar gum instead, and that works just fine. So when you look at my recipes, if it calls for xanthan gum, it's going to be in the ingredients. And if you are using a pre-made flour that already has xanthan gum in it, you don't need to put it in. Non-tomato sauce for meatballs and Rao's. Okay, so those are some good brands too. I have not tried Rao's, but I will definitely look for it the next time I'm at the store. Roux marinara sauce. Okay, that's good to know too. Awesome. Thanks for the suggestions, you guys. And with the meat sauce too, you guys were asking about the sauce a lot. So when I make it, it's like 2 batches in one. And what's great about it is I freeze that meat sauce. And when I'm making spaghetti like the next week or a couple weeks later, I just take it out of the freezer, I let it thaw, I reheat it and make my noodles, and then I toss it. And it's so simple. And that's why I love the meat sauce, because you can freeze it. It freezes really good. Okay, Roux. Everyone likes Roux. Okay, where do you guys buy it at? Or Rao's. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Rao's sauce. I will definitely look for that. Oh, I have tried Odomot sauce too, and that is really good. The ingredients in that are really good too. The jars are kind of on the smaller side, but it is a good sauce if you're looking for something that's clean, and I believe all their stuff's organic too, which is nice. You guys are awesome. So many questions, so many great questions. Walmart, Costco, Kroger. Awesome. I will definitely I'll check out that sauce, and I'll get some next time, because it's always good just to have extra sauce on hand in the pantry in case you don't have time to make something, or you don't have any frozen sauce in the freezer. And I think the meatballs that I have in the oven are going to be done soon. My kids are going to be so happy. They're going to walk through the door and dinner is going to be ready for them, and I'm going to be done for the day, which is awesome. That's what's great about these meatballs, is they're so easy to make too. And really, like my kids might eat 1 or 2 a piece. So they go a long way because they're big meatballs. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for hanging out with me. It was really great to connect with all of you. There's some new names on here, some names of people that I have met and seen in the past, which is really exciting. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can follow me on Instagram at Living Freely Gluten Free. I'm also on Facebook at Living Freely Gluten Free, but Instagram is kind of where I spend the most of my time out of all of the social media. And go to my blog, my website. I'll type it in here too, www.livingfreelyglutenfree.com. And I have over 200, there's probably almost 300 by now, gluten-free, dairy-free recipes for you guys to try. Tons of fall recipes. I have cinnamon rolls, and I have a maple scone recipe up there, and lots of yummy, delicious recipes to get you through the rest of the year. So thank you again. I am so happy that the Nourish Festival was able to put this virtual event together. I hope they do it every year because it's a great way to connect with a lot of people. I do Nourish Festival every year, but only on the West Coast. So it's so nice to be able to connect with people all over the United States. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the festival and you have some great speakers and you guys are able to learn a lot and gain a lot of knowledge from everything and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Thanks again, guys. Bye.